Okay, so Fiona, I know that you've been experiencing a lot of distress between you and Donna in your relationship. And the last time that I met with Donna, she mentioned that there's not much communication going on, right? And she feels very frustrated. And we named that frustration the dragon because sometimes she feels like she lashes out on you because you're not really giving her the attention that she feels like she deserves. So I just want to kind of get some perspective on how you're feeling about this new dynamic between you and Donna.
Well, I'm sorry if she feels like I'm not giving her enough attention. I mean, we're together all the time. We live together, so we do things together, but maybe she feels like I'm not giving her attention because I'm trying to find ways to distract myself from all the things that I gotta deal with.
So I hear that you do spend time together. I guess maybe the way that you spend time together is not very up to par for Fiona. Maybe she feels like you might be a little distracted when you're spending time together. But you say that's only because there are other things that are going on with you. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, so I have this condition. It's carcinogenic in my body, and it affects me. It's not completely away. So I haven't been working for a long time, and she's a sole provider. I do help in the house. We have a kid, which is our world. And I try to be useful, but at the same time, there's this anxiety of like not providing enough and my condition. So one of the things I really like escaping with is our video game. She's playing with me, you know. It's better than being out there, you know, self-sabotaging myself.
I'm sorry to hear about your condition. That could be very weighty, you know, like having been healthy and then now you have to deal with this health crisis. It's very difficult. And it does impact how you see yourself, your future, and it does impact your relationship because what I hear from you is that you feel like she's having to change roles in a way because you're unemployed. She's carrying the brunt of the financial responsibility, and so that's really impacting you physically, emotionally, and mentally. Right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
And so, tell me a little bit more about this condition. Like, what happens to your body?
First, it's very painful. Just feels like cramps in my hands and my feet, and I get dizzy. No ibuprofen can put it away, and I have to be laying down sometimes. So yeah, they diagnosed me a few years ago, and it's just like a slow death.
Yeah. So basically, you're experiencing all of this, and it's really incapacitating your abilities to be able to help out in the home and to just feel like an active participant. Yeah. That's a hard place to be. Tell me about the emotion that goes along with that.
When I feel
condition. Okay. How has this condition impacted your relationship with your support system? Because I do know that when I spoke with Donna, she said that most of your friends are on D&D, and you spend a lot of time on D&D. But recently, like, you have been banned from D&D. And in some ways, Donna does feel like you blame her for not being able to have that access to D&D. So, because your friends were online, how has that shifted your support system?
Yeah, well, I feel like it's not fair. It was one of my ways I used to, like, fantasize or escape. I guess it does sound a little sad if that's all I had. But again, it was entertainment at home. I'm not like, I'm just at home. I'm not out there, destroying my life.
Yeah. So being home, it gives you some sense of security that you're not doing worse. But at the same time, it's only your form of escapism. You're escaping, it sounds like, the gravity of your health diagnosis. So when you think of this cancer that you have, right? How has that affected your relationship with Donna?
Well, I feel like we don't get to do the fun things we used to do outside. Go out with our kid. I used to like mountain biking, and I can't stand the wind. It feels like needles. So strange. And that's why I started helping more at home and cooking and cleaning, and just kind of like I felt like I feel a little trapped, and maybe I feel like that's not enough.
Okay, so you're saying the cancer has shifted what you can do from your love of being outdoors to now you're inside. So it is restricting you, right? From activities that you used to love with your family, right? So if we were to name this cancer and say that it's separate from you, what name would you give the cancer?
Burden.
Burden? Okay.
Mr. Burden.
Mr. Burden. So Mr. Burden is causing you to feel the weight of isolation. Okay. And when you hear this, Donna, that, before we had our conversation, you said Fiona's not giving you enough attention, she just doesn't want to engage with you. After hearing this, what are the thoughts running through your mind?
I have an understanding of why she's been acting the way she has.
Okay.
It's a lot going on, and I've been taking care of her for a while, and I can understand how life changing. It really was life changing, and it has been affecting on what we can do as a couple and for kid, and gives me more background and empathy.
Right. And I think she did really understand because you weren't really opening up to her to talk about that, right? Can you talk about, kind of explain to me, what's your hesitation behind opening up to Donna?
Well, I guess it's just maybe I feel like a burden myself.
Okay.
I feel like a burden. I do feel alone myself because my family doesn't really talk to me. So I feel like I'm not enough again. And I don't want to be alone.
So what I hear is that not only do you feel like you feel that you are a burden in so many ways, like financially, physically, but opening up to Donna would make you feel like an emotional burden. Yeah.
Yeah, she works really hard and she likes her job. Yeah.
So it sounds like instead of telling her what's on your heart and some of your fears, you rather hold that in some ways to protect her. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Well, let's give that some space, that's very heavy to carry, knowing that the condition doesn't have a cure, and so you're just finding the best way to deal with it, right? And it's hard having those conversations because you don't really know what your future looks like, right? It's a very heavy feeling of uncertainty. So when we think of Mr. Burden, right? How has that impacted your relationship with your family? Because you said you don't have a very good relationship with your family.
Yeah, I don't.
Do they know about Mr. Burden?
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess my parents kind of distanced from me a long time ago.
Okay. Alright. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so they're older already, but they don't really like my lifestyle. So when I do call them, they are a little passive aggressive. So it's not the most helpful.
Right. So on top of your health condition, you also have a lack of support from your parents. Right. And that doesn't help at all. How does that make you feel, Donna?
It's sad. I guess, yeah. Also, it's a form of why we're so close. Is I also have family, and I don't have a good relationship with them either. It's really hard when your family doesn't value you because of your lifestyle.
Yeah.
What you decide to love. You decide to have a family with.
Yeah. And so now what I see is like two people who have similar backgrounds and similar strained family relationships, and you're in this together, but you're not opening up to each other. Well, Donna's trying to open up, but you have some difficulty opening up because of Mr. Burden. Can you tell me of a time when you were able to open up to her even though Mr. Burden was around?
Yeah. Yeah, when we share things about our kid, when we see him grow, when we make a birthday party for him. I think that's one occasion I don't think of that.
Okay. So when you're actively involved with your son, Mr. Burden is like in the background. You're not using him as, you're not feeding into him. between you and your son. Right? Tell me more about your relationship with your son.
Yes, he's a sweetheart. I pick him up, I drop him off, I pack his lunch because he's very picky. And he has two parents that really love him and support him in whatever journey he wants to choose.
Okay.
And we're not alone, even though she does have a distance relationship with her family. Like I want to be there for them
Okay.
and provide to the best of my ability. Like I do everything around the house. I actually like cooking, so and meal planning.
So you're quite active.
I try.
You are actually. I just want to validate that you are being helpful. You're spending time with your son. You're picking him up from school. You're holding like birthday parties. You're cooking. You're doing quite a bit actually for someone who has your condition. So you're trying to pull your weight, and that just shows that you're not a burden as much as you think you are, right? That just proves that you don't have to feed into Mr. Burden, right? You're not. There are times where you don't feed into him. What can you say about that? Like the relationship that you see with Fiona and your son.
Yeah, I agree. She does amazing with him. Giving him support, reassurance. There's a lot of, what happened with my family and her family. We want to make sure that he has parents that accept him no matter what. Because we don't have that.
Yeah.
We don't want our child to be
It sounds like the both of you are exceptional parents, very caring, very loving. And so, while Mr. Burden is not an issue between you and your son, it continues to be one between you and Donna. And so, what steps can you take so that Mr. Burden is not affecting your relationship with Donna?
Maybe not focus too much on that fantasy game.
Okay. Yeah. So not focusing too much on the fantasy game, and then
Maybe connecting with the real person.
connecting with the real person. You said that, but you just crossed your arms, right? What are you thinking? What are you feeling right now?
We used to like going to this special bar together that I stopped because of that. But, maybe just distract ourselves, and we had a couple friends there, so we would meet them out there.
Okay. So even though you can't do activities outside, are there other things that you can do that you love mutually together that you can do that's less stress and that doesn't tax your body? Can you think of something?
Maybe just camping, beach camping, something that would heavily exercise involved.
Not to heavily exercise involved. Yeah. What do you think, Donna?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Sounds
We
good.
can do.
So while I hear Mr. Burden is a huge issue because it's really impacting your sense of self-worth, I do see that Donna values you very much. And I see that you have a great relationship with your son. And I think Donna is searching for that ability to connect in the same way that you are connecting with your son because she wants to be there for you. So when you hear that, how does that make you feel?
I feel good. I feel okay.
Okay. Does it change your mind, or how how does this shift your perspective on how to interact with Donna?
Well, we are here, so we must need some kind of guidance. Yeah, I don't want her to be frustrated with me.
Okay, so I hear that you're here because you don't want frustration to be a part of your dynamic anymore, which is something that Donna and I talked about in our previous session. She felt frustrated by your actions, and so she's learned to manage that frustration even though you're not giving her the attention. But I'm so happy to hear that you're willing to come to therapy and you're willing to share that space with her, and you're taking steps to open up and reconnect with Donna. So you are doing well. You're doing fantastic. You know, it's little steps that we're taking to get to where we want to be.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's a lot to carry. So what I would like for you to do is tell me, what are some small goals for this coming week that you would like to implement to help with your interactions? Just one small goal.
Okay. Maybe go to the YMCA and go to the sauna together.
Sounds nice. Sauna sounds nice. It's helpful. It's good for your health, and you're spending time together.
Yes.
How do you feel about that, Donna? Okay, and what's one small goal that you would like to implement this coming week?
Again, try not to let my frustration get between us because I don't want the driving.
Yeah,
It's not helping our relationship.
right. So it's helpful that you're going to give her more of that attention that she needs, because when you're giving that attention, you're not feeding that dragon of frustration where she wants to connect with you. Yeah, it's okay. So what I hear is that even though the both of you have very different perspectives of how the relationship is, I know it's true that you both want to work on it and make it better. You're working on spending more time with Donna, being a little bit more open, and we can talk about that in our next session, like what we can express little bit by little bit to make Donna feel more included in your inner world, because it is hard. And Donna, I hear that you would open up yourself to spending more time with Fiona, and you're gonna continue working on your self-regulation so that you don't feed the frustration, you don't feed Mr. Dragon or the dragon. Does that sound like reasonable? Yeah? Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming into therapy, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you.
All right.